So welcome back, guys. Yesterday we finished what are the resource types. We define a complete RAML. Okay, we completed how to write the resource types, and today one by one, whatever we have completed like a main RAML. Okay, we will delete one by one like its query parameter, headers, security schemes, and we will move it to different. We will create a separate fragments, and all the fragments we will include in our main RAML file. Okay, we will create data types and examples. So it will kind of like validation of our RAML. Okay, so let me share you AnyPoint platform. So we created yesterday this MuleSoft system API. Let me open this. So today I will show you first how we define the data types. If we have a JSON, the data type will validate your API input and output. Okay. So this was the RAML that we completed. We created these resources. Get employees, get employee ID, delete employee ID, get post and put. Okay, so we covered 4 methods: put, post, get, delete. Okay, and yesterday we were finishing our class with the resource type. So we created this resource type with the get, delete, post, put, and patch method. Okay, so you know how you need to write the resource type. Okay, so now first I will showcase you one by one. Will remove everything, because if you see this RAML is uh, covering 165 lines. Okay, so once we will move everything into the files, so then you will see the size of this RAML. It will get reduced. Okay, so are you guys able to see the screen, right? The RAML.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, fine, good. Okay, so let me start first with the uh, uh, data type. Okay, one moment. I will start from this one. If you see this example, okay, we are keeping complete example here. So instead of this, I will remove one by one. So it will be easy for you to understand. Okay. So this example we have for get contacts, this get contact. Okay. And for get, we have the response. So I will move this one. I will cut it. And what I will do, I will create a folder here first, like examples, because it's example. So new folder. Why examples? Because there can be multiple examples for request and for response. Okay, so inside the example, I will create one more folder. It is like because it's a response, so all response and response is a response. Okay, so now I will create a JSON file, not a folder. So for JSON file, we don't need RAML and OS. We go other. If you click on RAML, it will give you the RAML file, and it will ask you, it is a trait, resource type, library, overlay, extension. Okay, what is that? Okay, but I don't need to create RAML. I will create a JSON file, and JSON file name you can give, because it is get contacts. Okay, so you can give some name like get contact response. Okay, so it will be easy if there will be multiple files, so it will be easy for you to find out where is the file for this resource. Get contacts, the spelling is right, just create it. And what it will, oh, sorry, I created a RAML by mistake. No issues, we'll rename it. Okay, so what you need to do, you need to just paste it here, the example you copied. Okay, and one moment. Okay, so now what we will do, we will include this one into our what we say main RAML file, this one. So here what we'll write, hash include its examples slash response slash get contacts hyphen response dot JSON. Okay, so it included. So now we can test it if it is referring or not. So go to get contacts, try this, mock this, and we'll see the query parameter. There is a query parameter email. Hit that and you will get the response. We'll get the response. Okay. Which, what mistake? Cannot provide example and invalid. Oh, invalid JSON. Why invalid JSON? One moment, let me check this. Okay, this comma is wrong. Now it's perfectly fine. Okay, so now it will get automatically saved. Okay, now hit it again, get contacts, try it and mock this one. Select the mocking server, hit the request and see you get the complete response that you are giving in the example, and you are referring it from a file that is get contacts response.json. Okay, now we created this file, but now what we need, we don't want to simply create this JSON. We want to validate it also. So what we will do, we will create a type of this example. Okay, so for that what we will do, somebody is waiting in the lobby. Okay, please allow if somebody is in the lobby. Okay, so now we need to create a folder type. Okay, so we will create a types folder. Okay, inside type, same thing. It's a request or response. So I will create a new folder that is for response. Okay, create it. Now inside the response, we need to create a RAML file because we need to create a data type. Okay, so data type, we will create a data type. And if you ask me like what is, as yesterday I told you that data type is a type of a fragment. Okay, so means this gives us the like what we say, something missed from my mind, like it is a data type is a kind of fragment that can, like, you know, to validate your request and responses. Okay, and the main thing is like you can define the data type into the library fragment also. So if like the main greatest part is that we can combine both library and data type fragments to you know, to make for even more powerful modularization, and we can use some kind of inheritance to combine both type of fragments in some meaningful way. Okay, so I will show you how we will do that, like how we combine this library and data types kind of into one file. Okay, we can define like data types into libraries, but now we'll see only the data type in a separate file. So create response, a new file. Okay, so new file is like it's related to get contacts response. So it will be something like same name we can take, like get contacts hyphen response. Hyphen response to RAML. Okay, so this is our RAML file, that is simple RAML, but we want to make it as a data type. So in data type, we don't need a title. will not support. Now give data type. Okay, so it is data type now. So now give the small description about this, like get contact response data type. After description need to be colon. Okay, so now we need to create this data type response void description. Okay, sorry, there is a spelling mistake. Oh, it's fine. So based on that example that we have used, we need to create a data type. So let me copy this one into a examples. This one be this here. Okay, so because I need to use that now one by one. So when you define a data type, because if you see here, it's an object. Okay, so it's an object. So how will you start? Like type is object. Okay, and for object, after object, inside the object, when you define a data type, so when you declare an object, inside the object we have the properties. Okay, inside the object we have the properties. We need to define all the properties. So what is the properties? So properties are all these fields. Okay, so one by one we will define these fields like this. Okay, and then what is its type? If you see, it's a number. Okay, it's a number, so its type will be, you can say, number, or like teacher. It should show automatically, but it's not saying. Okay, and second thing, as in my last classes I always explain that if you don't give parameter like required, if you are specifically explicitly putting that, then it's fine, it is like required. But if you are not keeping it, if you are to make it non-mandatory, you need to put required false. Okay, but if you don't keep write this one here, then by default it will be a required parameter. If you see here, it is saying integer required. Okay, so if you don't write required to, it means by default it's a required parameter. Okay, so here you can put, it's here you can do some validations also. Validations like kind of like, for example, if customer code, what will should be the length of customer type code? For example, it's min length. Okay, it cannot be more than 3 characters. So minimum length is 3. It cannot be less than 3. And also you can define the max length. Okay. So max length is, you can say like 4. Okay, not more than 4, not less than 3. So this is a validation. So minimum characters, if you see here, minimum characters is 3, maximum characters are 4. Let me see what's why it's minimum length and maximum not supported. Why it's because is there any spelling mistake? Okay, we'll see later. First, we'll do one by one. So it's an email. Next is our email address. Here also we can give it like type, and type is here string. Okay. Not sure why it's giving this an error. I think saying it's a YAML data type. Description is right. This everything's fine. Properties, customer, then it's type after one tab, and then after in same intonation it should be okay. No problem. Okay, so in the same way, here you can use any kind of validations. Okay, when you are writing a request, like you want, when you are writing a RAML and you want to validate the request also and response. Okay, so you need to define something like this, and validations like min length, max length, required. There are a lot of validations you can do. Okay, all kind of RAML validations. So when you will go on raml.org, that I was saying yesterday that there is a website raml.org where you can find everything about raml. So there are more validations covered. So according to your requirement, you can directly copy paste the validations from there, and you can just edit the things. Okay. So instead now, because I have written this one, other fields, if you see all the fields we need to define in this way. So I have already written these things. So I will just copy paste other parameters. Okay. And because if I will write one by one each, it will take time for you to identify. So I will do one thing after this. Okay. So if you see email address to first name, full name, all these files are here. Email address to first name, full name, till email preferred. Okay, so email preferred. Okay, so here if you see do not fax, we don't need this in the do not fax, because do not fax is like something yes or no in the field. Instead of that, we can define it here. Not sure why it's not taking. Maybe something I'm putting wrong. Okay, it will not be with the integer. Okay, so if we'll put number, what happened? Now it's taking. It's fixed. Maybe something, some indentation, or no, integer it's not taking. So with number and string, let me just go back. Okay, so max length and min length working only with the string. Not sure. Maybe I'm missing something. No problem. But I'm just want to show you the validations, how we can put the validations. Okay. So every field is required. So what we will do now, we defined it here, the data type. Okay. So we defined the data type and we defined the example corresponding to this. So now go to the main RAML. Okay. In the main RAML, we were in for the get contacts. Okay, now we will do one thing. We'll define its type. Okay, and we can include type slash response. Okay, and okay, I did not type my keyboard response slash get contacts hyphen response dot raml. Okay, so here for this one, for this response, we have this type, and for this type, we need to have this example. So if you see, it is showing the error. Why it's showing the error? Because whatever example we have given for this data type, it's not matching. So its validation is getting failed. So if you hover on this, it will show you all the errors, like address should be string, customer type code should be string, do not date. Everything is like it for every field it will validate one by one. So let me fix address. So address should be string. If you go to example, where is the address? Address. So address is null, but it should be a string. So let me make it some value like string something df. So now we'll see again. So it will not show you address. Address error is gone. Okay. So I would say like, because some fields can be null also in the request or response. Okay, so what you can do in when you define like a string, so you can put it to accept the null values, you just need to put nil. String pipe separated nil. Okay, so it will accept null value also with string or null value. So now you can put null. So again, go back, and if you see, there is no error for address. Okay, it's gone. So it's this time it's accepting null plus string value. Okay, but now change it again. Put it something true. It's a boolean now. Okay, go back and see. Again, address should be null or address should be string. Okay, address should match some of schema, any of. So either it should be null or string. It cannot be boolean or it cannot be other type. Okay, so this is kind of validation it is doing. So I just put it as null at the moment. Okay, so now go back again. So all values should be string as per this error. Every value we is saying it should be string. The customer type code should be string. Do not email should be string. Every field should be string. But what we are doing, we are making it string, but in the example, we are giving it as a boolean or these things. OK, so what you can do, like first is in number, second is string. This is email address to can be null. So email address to you can put something like this as I explained you nil. OK, and other things from do not email till email preferred, everything is boolean. OK, so you can make it from one moment from do not post mail. So do not post mail. So here you can put like boolean. OK, so let me copy this and replace. And then with boolean, this will not work because it's a boolean. It's true or false. So I will remove this condition, this validation actually. This one, this boolean, no, address, it will be string. Email preferred will be boolean. So this will be OK. First, I will show you that if issue is gone or not. OK, now see only two errors, customer type code and email preferred. So what is customer type code? Customer type code is here the number, but we are making it as a string. So what we'll do, we'll remove this validation and we'll put it as number. OK, so and one more field. Let me see which one it is now. Email preferred should be string. So go back. Email preferred is string, but we have boolean. OK, so we can change it here. Boolean. So because in example, we are giving it a false because email preferred. Somebody wants the email preferred yes or no because it's a contact. OK, so if we are, for example, we have something API related to notification and they are creating this contact with all these values that they want a notification with email preferred or they want to follow email, they want fax, phone, whatever. So based on that, we have these conditions. Now see if error is gone. So all errors resolved. Now we'll check this. Get, try, check the mocking service server and hit it. So you will see we are getting the proper response. There is no error. OK, now if we define, so I think everything is clear till here. OK, so now what is the thing? So we define the types here, or you can do one thing also, like instead of defining type here, what you can do, you can define this type at in the traits, also. OK, you can define the any kind of, what we say, like under the, like we have this fragmentation, we can have something like this types. OK, like this. OK, so you can give any name, for example, contact contact type. OK, in contact type you can say something like type, and in the type you can simply copy paste that we defined here. Remove this and place it here. Okay, so it's example also. It's example, remove this example and place it just after the type. Okay, like this. Fine. And you can put some description, or you can put something. What is this type is description? Something thing contact type. Okay, and you can put like display name. Display name. Same you can put type. Okay, so I'm just we defined instead of we were referring previously from the files, and now everything we defined it here, the types. Okay, and what we can do now, what we will do, we will define this one in the this complete one. We will directly use like as a type contact type in this. From where we just deleted this one, we will write it here like this, type contact type. Okay, and now it will refer it from this types. Oh, sorry, where it is, this types. Okay, now we'll see get, try it, and mock service, and it will give you the proper response. Look. Okay, so these are the two ways, okay, that I explained how we define these types and all, how we validate with the help of this. Now the another part with the help of resource types. Okay, I think this you guys understood. Okay, so now I'm moving to the resource type, because we in the last class we defined resource types for each method. So what we will do in each method, for example, contacts only first get. We have defined this response structure, body, and everything with the help of this get method. Okay, so what you can any question? Okay, so what first I will do here, like instead of defining this one here also, what I can do, I will remove this one. Okay, I will create a library instead of creating everything here. I will create a local library folder, local library. Okay, in the library, we can define all type of fragments. Okay, like traits, any security schemas or something, or any, you know, what we say, any other like these traits we can keep in RAML, these types we can keep into the library, these security schemas we can keep into the library, and from the library we will include here. And then what we will do, we will from the library we will keep one by one with the help of uses tag. Uses keyword, we include the library into the main YAML file, and then that library we will include into our resources here. Okay, so let me create one local library first, new folder like local library. Okay, it created this local library. So inside the local library, I will create a library.raml file. Library.raml file. Okay, this is the file that we created now because it's a library. Okay, so it will be library like this, and inside the library, what I will do, I will whatever I have defined the types into this file, I will cut it from here completely. I'll go into the library file. I will keep it here. And now it's very simple. It's like, for example, what we say, we can define something like get contact response instead of this contact type. Okay, I will give a very simple name, get. And we can put the same name, or we can put something like this. Okay, so here we don't need to put a type. We just include the like this, the RAML. Okay, we don't need to give these ones. Okay, let me see, include, because it's a this folder, this library.raml is inside the local library. So you need to come out of this level to, you need to go first to this local library, means that is the root level for library.raml. So you need to put dot slash dot means you come out from this folder here, means from this file to the root level, that is local library, and from local library and types are at the same level. So that's why we are keeping this slash dot like this. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so this is done here. So we define the types here. It's pretty simple. Now what we will do, one moment. This is done, and now come back. From here we removed, and now we will include this library. To include the library, we need to use uses keyword, and here you can give any name for this uses, like how we will use it. So for example, I'm giving lb-api, so kind of library of the API. Okay, so it's and now inside this, for this we will include that local library, library slash library dot raml. Okay, so what it is doing, LB API like this. So now it's pretty simple. Now instead of writing everything, we moved it to the library file, and now we included the library inside the our main YAML file. So what you need to do now, it's a pretty simple again. Go back to get response, get context here. Instead of type, you just need to put lb-api dot. Okay, what will be here? Dot lb-api dot the library name, this type name, go get contact response. Okay, so it will be like lb-api dot get contact response. So with the help of LB API, it is going, this is the LB API in line number 14, and we are using that line number 14 in the to define our response type. Okay, so with the help of LB API, we are entering into library YAML file. Inside the library YAML file, we define the types, and for that, what under the types we can use any type, like whatever we define. So we define get contact response, and that we are referring here. Okay, so that is the one. And here again you can put example, and it will be saying include examples slash response. Yes, I just copy this name. Okay, so include examples and everything is done. Okay, so we defined the library with the types, and inside the types we define the type, and we are referring the example like this. Okay, so I hope you understood this thing. Okay, now what we will do, we will now move to our resource type. Look, for get, we define response 200 body application slash JSON everywhere. In the same way for post, we are defining body responses, everything. Okay, so we don't need to do this. We don't need to define this responses body, because yesterday we finished this resource type. I explained this completely line by line. What is what is the meaning of this and that, everything. Okay, so we have defined this here. So now what we need to do? So we will include this resource type into our main YAML file first. Go to this, and at the top level, like uses, we included library. We will include the resource types. So resource types colon And then we can say like item hyphen resource. You can give any name like a code, even if it is in your low level design diagram given by architect, you can define according to that way, or you can give simple like I am giving item resource. Okay, so here you need to include is the name of source. This is this one. This is the request. This is the resource type file name. So it's automatically showing you. We included it. Okay. So now we defined the resource type into this file. We included into the main file. Now we need to use it in our main file. Okay. Go back to context get here. Now we will delete this one completely. Control X. I will copy it somewhere. So it will be easy for we need this type and examples. Okay, so now we remove this get one and now we need to define that. So what we will do, we have, if we go back to here, we have everything is defined. Okay, so we don't need to worry. We just including our resource type. Okay, so what we need to do, just define the type of the response and it will be item hyphen resource. Because it's a type, we are taking the type from resource types. So it's this resource type is because it's, if you see, okay, I did some mistake because it's a resource type. So it will be at the same level of method. Okay. And now this item resource will be inclined like this. Okay. So now item resource, what is the method type is this one. So item resource, if you see hover on this, it will say cannot find variable type post request, example put request, example get response, all these things. Okay. So we need to define, if we go back here. Yeah. Yes. So now one by one we'll define type hyphen get hyphen response this. It was lb hyphen api dot it was in this file, right? This one, because we need to give a type. So it's lb. What is get response type is this, and what is its example? Okay, so examples hyphen get hyphen response, and this is the type, and its example is this one only, this complete file. Control C and this. Why it's giving the error? Okay, because what we did in this one, we make get as a optional, but other things we did not make an optional. So we need to make it optional because it's not required that for each resource we have these methods. We can have for one resource, we can have get method, for one we have delete, for one we can have only two, something like this. So that's why we need to make it optional. So we are making get, every method is optional. Whatever we want to use, only that we will define. Okay, so we are defining for get method. So let's see. Okay, so it will go, hold for one moment, it will go automatically. Delete post done. Okay, let me copy delete from here and we'll define it. Okay. Define resource this and uh, item resource item hyphen resource type hyphen get response lb hyphen api. Oh, I did a mistake 2 times. Okay, now examples hyphen get hyphen response, and for that example we included this one. Fine. But why cannot find variable type post request example put post put? Uh, Why it's giving this error? I made it as optional. Something is wrong. Get, this is the type, description, body, response. This is optional. Delete, it's optional. Post is optional. Put is optional. Patch is optional. Then why it's behaving like this? Let me go back. Cannot find variable example post request. Something I'm doing wrong. Any idea, anyone? What I am missing? Type and then item hyphen resourc, some spelling mistake. Type is done, item source, and this type response will be something like this, and then examples get response example. Oh my god, what I'm missing. Copy this. Sorry guys, little delay here. I'm just keeping it something like this, and what again is still. Let me refresh. Okay, we refreshed it, and now let's see. Oh my god, still the same. Hello? Yes. Any issues you can see?
It means straight to type.
Which one? Where? Item source. Did we do it properly? Source types is correct. Item hyphen source. Resource. Response dot YAML item resource types. That is defined correctly. Now inside the contacts. So we have this type. Maybe something is wrong. Okay, let's shut. Let me check if it is, maybe it's showing correctly or not. No, something is missing. Something I'm doing wrong. We need to define it like this only, but something is missing. Oh, so my bad. Sorry. My bad. Because for this context we have post and put, and inside post and put I did not define this item resource, so that's why it's giving you error type post request, put request, type put response, type post response, because we have the other methods post. The post, for post we need to define post request, post response. Same for put, put request, put response, because if you see here post one, so post we need to define type post, type post request, example post request, same type post response, example post response. Okay, so that's why this is this error. Sorry, it's my bad, I forgot about it. So as for the time being we delete this one. Okay, so we can delete and I can save it here. Okay, for reference. So look, that issue is resolved. Okay, so sorry, I missed it. Okay, so now if you see, we don't need to define that response is 200 and all every time. Okay, we are just taking it with the help of resource types. Okay, we explained everything here with the help of the files. Okay, and we don't need to define the response code and all other things. Okay, like we were defining earlier, this response body, application selection, description. So I will show you one more thing, like here if you see it's description for get, sorry, for the get we have description, a collection of resource path name. So if we see it's a description, so get and the description, what is the description here? Description get contact and its type response. So if you see here somewhere, a collection of this, if no was found, a empty list is written. So if you go here, get contact, yeah, here if you see this, for this type we define, we are getting this a called collection of contacts. So this is our resource path name that we are giving here. So our resource type automatically picking the resource path name, because a collection of resource path name, whatever resource we have in which we define this resource type, it will pick that name automatically, and here also, and it will make it singularize. Okay, and upper camel case. Fine, so we'll see again, get contacts, a collection of contacts if no contact was found, because for this I was making it singularize plus upper camel case. Okay, if I will remove here, I will show you again to compare our resources contacts, that is pluralize. But now because of in the resource type we defined it as a singularize, so it is making it like if no contact. Here it's as it is because it was nothing was defined. Here it was defined only resource path name, so it will pick resource path name as it is, but here it is doing some changes. It is making is a upper camel case plus singularize. Now just to showcase you, I will remove this upper camel case. Okay, I will remove this upper camel case so you will see the difference. Let's see now. Get contacts and look, it is making, it is not making is an upper camel case. It is as it is, whatever defined here, but singularize. Okay, so that is the difference. That is the I will say modularization, how we are modularize our RAML. Okay, so this is the beauty of resource type. Okay, so in the same way, now I think you got it, this point, the resource type. So it is making it very simple by defining like this. Okay, so in the same way, I will show you one more, like for the post, other will be easy. Okay, so I will take only post method, will paste it here. So now it will give error on here because we did not define. Now what we will do, this example, cut it from here, create a new file, get contact response. And for this, what you can do, no, now we need to declare a request folder because it's a request, request, create a request folder because it's a post request body. So inside the request body, create a file get contacts hyphen request is JSON. It will be JSON. Okay. Sorry, I need to copy this. Control C. Other, it will be JSON created. And inside that we will post. My bad. I copy this and we paste there. But paste into this file as it is. YAML is perfectly fine in every where. So now in the same way, we will create a types. Inside the types, we will create a folder request create, and we will create a file YAML file for the types, new file, and it will be YAML. So get contacts. You can define like get context request, or you can also define it because it's a not get contacts, it's a post. So you can say post contacts request like this defined, and you can rename it here because we already defined the method get. So I'm defining it like this post. Okay, so post request is this, and what we need to do, we need to define in the same way like we created here. Okay, so data type. Okay, so now you can copy same data type, remove this thing, paste our YAML, and from here you can take first steps like here, these 3 lines, because it will be common here also. No need to write again and again like this. And here you can say it's a post contact request data type. Properties, so what will be the properties? First property is our first name. Okay, and what is the type? Type is string. Okay, and first name is mandatory. Similarly, we have last name. Last name for this also. Type is string. And now we have email address. For this also we have type as string, email address 1, and then we have email preferred. I will showcase you one more example how we create a data type for if we have array in our JSON, because that sometimes people get confused to define the data type if we have nested array or nested objects. Okay, so I will show you that also by taking an example, but this is the simple one that I'm showing you to finish this topic. Type string. Okay, everything is done. Delete it. Okay, now we have data type, we have its example. Now what we need to do, we need to define it into our library. So go to library here, define like post contact request, and then include slash types slash request, because it's inside the request folder. Okay, slash, it should show by on no suggestions. So did I do any mistake? No. Okay, no problem. Post contacts hyphen request dot YAML. Let's see, it took it. Now this one, go back, and like we defined this, what we need to do, we don't need to define response, we just delete it completely. Okay, or we can comment it each line because we can use it with the hash sign, as you know how to comment the code in the YAML with the using of hash sign. Okay, we commented this YAML. Now instead of post description, like here post description, we just need to define its type. What type of this? And here it's item hyphen resource, and then type hyphen post hyphen request, and here it will be lb-api dot this post contact request. This is the type. And now it's examples hyphen post hyphen request, and then sorry, it's examples. Okay, examples is hash include, it is example slash request slash post hyphen. Okay, it is not showing suggestions, sometimes it's slow. Request dot json. This is the example for all, but it will show you examples. Let me see what is the error. JSON not found. Post contact request. Okay, so this is done, but problem is duplicate key type. Okay, I have defined it already here, so that's okay. I forgot this one. So guys, because this is under context, we have two methods, so we don't need to define again types and that. Just we will do one thing. We'll copy this, Control X. Okay, no, wait. Defined it here. 1 second. I will remove this one. Okay, and now this will delete this one also. Control X from here and here. This one. Copy both. Control X and here for we'll use like this. Okay, so type post examples, and this issue is type post response. So because for response now we define for both the methods we have defined. Look how simple it looks like now. You just define get, then post, and all examples and body into one line completely. Earlier, if you see, I just copy this one. Okay, and I just undo everything, and you can compare how complex it was and now how easy it is. Okay, so I'm just undo everything just to showcase. Look how it was. You can imagine. Okay, you can imagine like it was something this much big. You are defining like this, everything. Okay, and how simple we are making it now. Okay, it's very, very, very easy and making more beautiful. Okay, so I will delete this because I have just showcasing you X. We'll copy this. Okay, I did wrong. Copy this here. Okay, so I will copy this again, Control X. Okay, and now we will put it here. So see how it was. It was very, how many 165 lines was there, and now it's simple. So now if this is showing error, type post response and post, because for post, if we see this one in the post method, post resource type, right? The post method resource type, we have request and response, but we define in our ML only the request. So we need to define the response also. So type hyphen post hyphen response this, and here you can say something. Just for example, I'm just taking here examples hyphen post hyphen response, and it's examples, and it is something like no. Why did this email preferred should be string? Okay, that we'll see. I did not define the separate files for the response because if you see post response was simply example this. I can define this. Let me define because I don't want to skip this part. Let me define into the response new file. It's a JSON file and it will be like post contact hyphen response.json. Copy this and paste this here, and here we have only one field message. So inside the response into the types we'll create one more file, raml file, and that raml file name we can give something like post hyphen contacts hyphen response.raml. Okay, this one. And inside this we have only one field, and because it's the same thing, so we'll just that's a problem in Design Center. This and copy this data type because it's a data type we are defining. Data type, there is no title. We have it's defined, depends. We want to give the description or not. Okay, so now type first we can take as it is this one because we have only one field in the response of post, and that is just a message, and that is also string type. Okay, so we define this also, and same file, this one we need to just copy this. Okay, so we need to define into the library. Okay, into the library. Oh my god. Sorry guys, I think I need to define this again. A bit weird sometimes, MuleSoft Design Center, but if you face this problem, then you need whatever you define or whatever changes you have done, it will skip. Okay, so beware if you face something like this. Controllers back and go to the library. We need to define this. We need to include the type and example. Okay, sorry, types. So we will define like post contact response, and we'll include types slash response slash this one. Okay, so because this file is already there, so it included. Now copy this, go to the main YAML. In the type you can say lb-api dot this is the type, and for example you can just include the example file, that is inside include examples slash response slash post hyphen contact dot json. Okay, now we'll see what errors it will give. So first of all, for this one, it is saying email preferred should be string. So let me go back to post contact request. Post contact request is this, and inside that email preferred. Okay, it should not be string. We need to make it as Boolean. Because email preferred can be yes or no. Email preferred means the user wants email preference as for the mode of communication or not. Okay, so that's why it can be. It's issue gone, and now we'll see this one. Should be object. Okay, that is correct. Now example post contact response. It is an object message, and what we give here, post contact mess type object message property string. That was the problem. Response post hyphen context hyphen response to JSON should be object. Value for a variable in graph template should be object. What we are given.
Response spelling is wrong, I think.
Response spelling
Oh, sorry. Response dot just.
RES. RES.
Okay. Now, any other mistake? Include. Sorry, my keyboard is little weird today. Okay, so if you see this for context, we defined two methods, we defined its examples, we validated everything. I just want to show you the post method first. For example, we have a post, try it, and select the mocking service here, and then first name. First name should be a string, but I will give it as a number. Okay. Send. Invalid schema for content type. First name expected type is string, but found integer. We are giving integer. So it's validating your request. Okay. So it's validating your request. It's some like you when you are mocking a service and you want this mocks, if you want to use the URL of this mocking service into your API, like someone want to develop a process API parallel to system API, you can provide these type of validations and they can implement their error handling accordingly. Okay, so because you will send a error request, and in that error request there will be some error, and based on that they can create their error handling. But here it is RAML created validation error, that code and message, but you can define your own responses, your own errors, and you can include it. Now I will show you that. Okay, so for example, error responses. Okay, for error responses, we need to define error message definitions. Okay, so what we need to do, we first define a trait, because it's a kind of a trait. Okay, like responses and all. So I will create a separate file first, new file. Here it will be RAML file, so I can say it like something error message hyphen definition. Okay, created, and now it is kind of a trait because it will be a common for all trait. And now here we have a local library. Okay, and inside the local library we can define something like a new RAML, like error structure.raml. Okay, it's kind of, because for each error we need to define a structure error -struct structure dot, well, this one. Okay, here, like, because it's a library, right? In the library, either you can create a data type for array structure, and that data type you can include in library.raml. And wait, I will show you first what I want to explain. So this is a library because we are creating inside this. So first I will create a library, and sometimes like error response have some structure, something like success, which API is giving error. So it's API name, which version it is, and what is UUID. So it gives you some kind of this structure, some kind of this JSON. Okay. Every API, every business, every organization have defined their own error response structure. But for example, I am taking something like this. I will, in my error response JSON will be having these fields. Success is true or false. If it is an error, it will be false. What is the API name? Which API is giving the error? What is the version of the API? What is the UUID? Because UUID will help us to trace our what we say end-to-end message. Okay, where till what API it passed and all. Some other, if it is an error in the API, till what we, with the help of UUID, we can find out what is the issue, why it is failed, something like this. Okay, so let's define this one. That is types, because it's a library I'm creating. So types, what type, and it's, we can say like error collection. Collection and its type is object. Type is object. Give the space. Okay. The properties. It's the same way like we were defining in the data type file in the types. Okay. What I'm doing and now I'm showing you an example where I can define the types straight away into the library. Okay. So I define the types separately in the files into the types folder. All the data types like a data. Oh, sorry. There it is. Where is yeah, this one like this data types. But now I'm showing you how we can define a type inside the library. OK, that's why I have used some kind of this example. I did not define this structure separately as a data type file. OK, as a data type fragment. OK, so I have already written a message before this class. So I will just copy paste from there. So it will be easy to means it will be easy for us. It will kind of save our time. OK, if you see here, one more thing. Yeah, one more. Yeah, so we have success as a Boolean field, example false, description, the status of response, the call is got failed or passed. Same way API name, it can be string or null. OK, and description, it's a version of the API, correlation ID, that is kind of UUID. OK, a unique identifier value that is attached to the request and messages that allow reference to a particular transaction event chain expressed as a string value. OK, so each field I define what timestamp, when error is occurred, what are the error details. So for error details, we have error item. We defined a separate type for error details. OK, so what is that? I define a separate type. Separate type is what? Like this type. OK, so we can reuse somewhere else also the types if we define, for example, if this error type, whatever objects, whatever fields are here, code region message, if we want to use into some other data type file, so we can include something like if we want this to use into this data type, what we need to do, just include this file and I mean include this, and inside that you need to just call that error item like we were doing usage inside the usage. I'll show you here. Like this usage library and then this. In the same way, we will define the library into these data types and we can easily use this data types. OK, so I separately define the error item. This is the type that I reused into this body structure. OK, so here what is the error item? What are the fields? Fields are code, region and message. OK, and based on this one, we define this one, and for this we can we can define what we say. One more thing, I think I missed something. Yeah, oh sorry, I forgot this one. Definition, the trait. OK, so now we define the error response library. In this we will include usage, and then we have the error response. If you see here in this library, we have this error collection and this is the library that we define. Name, we are giving any name like we give LB API in the main file. This one in the same way I am giving into this RAML usage error response, and I need to include local library. Local library spelling is correct. Then error hyphen structure dot RAML. OK, we defined this. Now that is just a type, like what will be the body structure and all. But we need more things like what do we say? We need more trait like responses. It's just a structure, but we need a responses also. I will show you what I'm saying exactly. So there is one more thing I need to define for you inside the examples, because let me create responses, and for example 400, and its body, and application slash JSON, and its type. Okay, and type can be this error response. Okay, because we defined its data type there. Error response dot error collection. Okay, so this is the type, and now for this type we need to have an examples, means example, you can have multiple example, 1 2 3 like this example. And now what we need to do, like for 400 we can define examples in example file. The request response we have, we can create one more, like new folder something, get the error, and inside the error file we can have, there can be separate errors like client errors and server errors. So let me create a separate folder with the name of client error, client hyphen error. Okay, and inside that, now inside the client error I can create a all files. So now we need to create a JSON file because data type we already defined, so it can be error hyphen response hyphen 400, because it's related to 400 dot JSON. That's it. And inside that we can give the same type of example like JSON that we defined into our array structure, like success, API name, version, control, this timestamp, correlation ID, same like this. So let me, I already have that example, so I will copy it and will paste it here. Look, success, API name, version, correlation ID, and inside error details, we have error items. If you know error item, code, region, and message. Same I defined here, code, region, and message. Got it? So this is the thing that we defined inside our example. But now here we need to include that example file. Okay, so we will include as example, it is include examples because it's just at the root level. So examples, then inside will go inside error, then client error, and then this file. So this one like this. So it is error, client error, and then error response hyphen. But what's the error it is giving? Resource JSON not found. Okay, maybe some mistake. Error hyphen response hyphen 400 CLINET. Okay, the spelling I have given here wrong. So let me rename client error. Okay, so it's done. So in this way, we define this error definition. Now we need to include this into our main RAML. Okay, into our main RAML, we need to use this inside the traits. So go back here, we have traits defined. Into these traits, we can simply say like error required, and in the error required, what we need to include our RAML file that we define for the errors. Okay, so that's it, simple thing. Error required is a trait, and inside for that we included error hyphen message hyphen definition, this RAML file. Okay, I can just to remove the error, I just again copy paste, it's the same thing. Okay, let me check the error. Oh no. Okay, let me copy it again. This is the tab. Pasted. included this. Okay, now these two methods, get and post, we need to include its RAML, like we need to include the error responses. So we define the traits. So you know how we include the traits just with the keyword is and error hyphen response. That's it. So it will be applicable for both methods. Okay. So as hyphen error response is error response only, right? I will copy from here. Error response copy. Okay, it's done. Now I will show you context get method. If you see 400, earlier it was not there. Okay, so it came. Okay, and same for the post method. Summary post method. See 200, not 1 and 400. So in this way, we can include our traits. We can define error responses. I have already shown you how we can define the traits in the RAML in the library, or how we can define a separate data types and then examples, and then we can include here. And then we can, in the main RAML, we can include this data type and its example. So I think it's pretty clear now. So this was all about a RAML. We defined everything: security schemes, two type of security scheme, basic and authentication, auth 2. We define headers, query parameters. We define the resource types. I explained you about the documentation. I explained you about the usage, include keyword. Everything is done. We defined examples into separate files. I have shown you this basic example, like everything in one RAML file. This one, get employees. We did not use resource type here, but for context, we use the resource type. So if you see here, this employees resource, there are like, it's a mess, right? It's a mess. I know it's at one place, everything, but it's kind of a mess, I would say. But here it's pretty simple. Everything is simple. If you want to change something, just go into the file and change it from there. No need to, no need to disturb the main RAML file. Okay, so this is the beauty. Or you can say this is the reusability. Okay, so also one more thing, whatever data types we defined, if those data types, for example, get this request, first name, last name, email, and address. This can be used for our employee resource also. Like for example, we are creating a contact. For example, we are deleting something, deleting an employee. What we want to delete, its first name, last name. So we can easily reuse that data type. We don't need to define one more time. We can easily reuse it, like we reused the data type into our this, like into error collection, we used error item, something like this. Okay, so here I don't need to define all these fields again. I just simply use this error item into this one. So it was reusability. Okay, so guys, this was all about the RAML. So our RAML topic is completed. Okay, so last session I recorded, but I will record it again. Okay, because there is some glitch, so don't worry. Now, apart from this, okay, I want to show you how we write these data types. Okay, you know what? Sometimes we have a big JSON. Okay, like I would say, one moment, I will show you something. Okay, let me open something into my drive and I will show you what I'm saying. So RC main resources API examples request publish requests. Let me show you this JSON. If you if you see this JSON, it's a very big JSON. Look how much bigger it is. Okay, and there is array, nested object, so many things. Okay, so it's very hard. It's not a simple one. You cannot define simply like this: properties, customer type, and all. Okay, logic or like concept wise, it's the same, but you need to take care. You need to take care about all the array and all. So, okay, I will show you something. like how we can define this. I have already written, so I can easily show you this thing parallelly. If you see this, like publish type, data type, type is object because it's starting with the object. Okay, look one by one, don't get confused. Okay, that's why I'm showing you parallelly. Look, publish type, publish date, publish entities. Okay, so publish entities is array. So when you reach publish entities, put type array. Required, false or not, it's a different thing. It's based on the business requirement. Here I make it a false because it's sometimes required, and I mean it can come in the request or not. It depends. Okay, so now type is array, it false. Inside types we don't have properties. We need to write it as item. So what are the items? All items are kind of object. Items starting with like, I will show you here. It's items, array items starting with the object. If it is like kind of string, then we will put items type items type string. We will keep string if it's just a string array, but it's an object. Okay, so I am writing type object, then properties, because inside then it is same again. Then it will be from scratch, type object and everything, something same like this. So in this way you can define. Okay, so this is the basic funda or basic framework, I can say, that you need to use when you have an array and object. So it's a very simple thing. When you have an object, start with type object and its properties. When it's an array, start with type array, then items. Instead of properties, you need to have items and then start what type of items it is. It's object or what, and then it will be same as it is like objects. Okay, so I hope you understood this. So this is all about RAML. I would say after practice at home, I will keep I will make little bit more easy for you guys. I'll create 2 to 3 examples one by one. So you can or I will not create anything. Whatever I created, I will keep it as it is on my GitHub repository. I will paste the link on our WhatsApp group. You can download the RAML, you can fork it, and then you can like you can practice at your home. It's kind of a homework. You can just practice it, create another resource, create the data types, create the libraries and everything, create different type of fragments, and you can use it. Okay, last thing, whatever we created here, okay, like these resource types, it can be common for our all APIs. Okay, so what we can do, instead of defining it here, we can simply create a separate RAML into the design center. Okay, go to the design center, create a separate fragment, like create new API specific, and it's not RAML. One second. I think guys, sorry. It's new fragment because it's a fragment and it's a resource type. What is the name? You can give the same name and create it. Okay, and whatever file you defined over there in MuleSoft Station system API, you can create over there and you can publish it. And in the main, I can show you in the next class how we can create separately and how we can include into the main file. Okay, I can show you in the next class. It is very quick. It will not take much time, like hardly 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, so we are done today. I will just stop the recording and then we can, if you will have any doubts and all, we can continue with that.